vertical fire along its length. So it's a more frustrating or a few more steps to wall of fire is how I kind of interpret that.
Interesting.
And then the frozen dagger does require attunement. Attacks made with this dagger deal cold damage instead of piercing. If you roll a 20 on an attack roll made with this magic weapon, the target must succeed on a DC 12 Constitution saving throw or be paralyzed until the end of its turn, frozen in place, unable to move.
So it cut right there, and I had to restart the recording. I think I hit a wire, so it flickered the signal to my monitor, and then it turned it off, and I just turned it back on again. So it's gonna be a 3-parter. Hooray!
Okay.
Yeah, it did a little funky thing. We're not having luck today. Okay. Today's bad luck.
It's okay. It's all right. Okay, so those are the 3 items.
Do you guys have a preference on any of these 3 items?
I don't know. These are.
I don't really use daggers all that much, so I'm not partial to the dagger if either of you want it.
Not partial to daggers. Ugh.
Dagger's just like, what?
I can use a dagger, but if anything gets close to me, something's already gone wrong, so...
I mean, it could be a last resort sort of thing, like just in case anybody...
Dagger is going to say, he's still facing away from you all. He's just going to kind of, like, his voice kind of floats over. He's like, not that I know anything about this, because I don't, but this horse just told me, if you don't find a specific use for the magic item for yourself, if we were to very unfortunately find the illegal magic trade, it behooves you to have something to trade. I don't know anything about that and would not find myself in such a scenario, but perhaps... And he just goes back to the horse.
Quite interesting input from a dead horse. Thank you.
I thought so. I was very... yeah.
This horse has experienced a lot in its short life.
So yeah, even if you don't have if you don't find a specific need for the magic item, it is super valuable to trade magic items on the...
Or other magic items.
Yes.
Yes. I wouldn't sell them because people are going to be like, hey, where'd you get that?
In truth, I feel maybe a dagger would be useful to me, personally. The rope, I'm not certain of because... It
could be a good belt in the meantime, and then when there's trouble, you undo the belt.
I mean, if somebody is getting a little too close to you, I mean, I'm not sure what the extent of your magic is, but if you have a spell that you're concentrating on, perhaps it could act as a sort of temporary barrier?
Maybe.
You could play, you have magic, you have an instrument, maybe you have the fire in front of you when you're performing, and it looks really cool.
Maybe.
It could amplify your performances. If
it could.
With the magical fire.
I'm not sure you would want people to see you with that in public.
Oh, that's a good point, actually. Sorry.
Dagger's gonna step up and say, we should probably keep moving before someone sees us ransacking this dead horse. Dagger's actually going to make a... he's gonna see if he can try... He's like, there must have been a rider, presumably. And there must have been a lot more of these things that chased it off before they could grab
a track. Yeah.
We're doing a ranger. You can
Investo?
Things, right? He's a ranger. He can do that.
Is that nature or Investo?
I'm trying to
survival because you're looking at like
Well, so his favorite enemy, spoiler, is humanoids. And so he has advantage on. I mean, wouldn't you? So he has survival. He has advantage on survival checks to track his favorite enemies. So he can. So he makes a survival check with advantage to track them. Okay, let's make a roll here. Let's see if he's...
All I think of is Entropy Jones hard on for dragons. Every time they showed up,
I need
she got
everyone
mad.
to know the stuffy familiar's name is Malinki.
Is that the one you decided to take?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Because I think I could use it for spells. So imagine that
Mhm.
we are on the battlefield and you need to be healed. And then the little stuffed animal will come over and give you a hug for healing, I think.
I'm obsessed with that.
A very notable way to. It'd be a nice sight to wake up to if I were unconscious and you were to bring me back.
Yeah.
A little
I
stuffed
agree.
cat pawing at your face.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Just like a beanie, a
Malinki-
beanie baby slap.
Yeah. So its name is Malinki, which in Vishirin
Malinki.
means
Mhm.
small. It just means small.
That's so cute.
Wonderful.
That's very
There you
cute. Okay.
Vishirin.
So I guess I'll take the rope then.
Vishirin.
If you
Taking
want
the
to take the
dagger.
rope. If you want to.
They'll put it in their bag because they're not very fond of the smell, but
Yeah.
Sure. And again, it can be used to trade later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dagger has cast. He rolled a 16, so Dagger's doing ranger things a few feet away.
Nose to the grindstone.
And he's going to say, tracks give out suddenly. I think they made an escape magically. I think I've heard of items that can sort of pull you out of where you are and take you somewhere else.
Do you think it's kind of strange, Dagger, because these creatures, they look like scavengers. So they feed off of what was already here. So what did it look like with the horse? Because maybe they were attacked by someone else.
No, I think you're right. It looks like a horse was put to the sword, so perhaps someone was
Maybe, do you think I could touch
chasing.
Do you think maybe I could touch the horse and see if I see anything?
You can certainly try.
I have no idea if this would work, because I don't think she's ever done this before. So she's gonna
Make a religion check, please.
gonna take off her glove and touch a dead horse.
I don't know what I told you to make, but make a medicine check. I don't know if that's what I did.
Well, I rolled a natural 1 for the religion check. Does that count for the medicine check?
No, because you. Well, does it pull from the same thing?
It's a different.
Go ahead and roll for medicine. Sorry, I couldn't remember what I told you.
It's still bad. It's still a 6.
Okay.
No idea.
Did you want to use your bullshit? I mean that with affection. I didn't mean that.
No, I think I have
couldn't think of what it was called.
I think I have to.
Oh, you have to decide
roll-
before.
I think I have to roll first. I mean, I do that first, and then I can.
Yeah.
I have the bardic lasts for 10 minutes.
Use the bardic.
What was that? A D what?
D8.
That's true. That's true. Thank you.
Inspiration. Inspiration.
It's a
that is
1!
bardic.
Fuck!
Incredible.
7! Damn it!
Hey,
Damn it!
hey Sigrid. Hey
Nothing.
Sigrid.
Yeah.
That's a dead fucking horse.
It's been dead
That's a
too
dead fucking
long.
horse, babe.
It's been dead too long. There's no spirit.
It
left.
doesn't seem. It looks relatively fresh. Like it's not like this
Dead
is
too
within an
long.
hour.
Dead too long.
Yeah,
I need
but just
fresh
for
bodies.
just for cigarettes and for just so we're all aware. This happened. Dagger's gonna say. I will say, Sigrid. Trauma. This horse's last moments fucking sucked.
No.
I mean, it was literally
Glove
like
is
sliced to
on.
ribbons.
Glove is on. Glove is on.
Fucking call the glove on. Dagger's gonna say, seems like somebody was headhunting our fair representative from the Sterling Trade Alliance. If only we knew who was enemies of dwarves. Too bad. And obviously, hey, Dagger's a follower of the Deerheart. Dagger fucking hates. You're gonna all assume Dagger fucking hates dwarves. Not a big dwarf guy. So he's being pretty facetious when he says that. He clearly does not have a tremendous amount of sympathy for this writer. He does feel bad for the horse. Does seem to feel pretty bad for the horse.
They bring a lot of enemies upon themselves.
They certainly do. should keep going. It is getting dark. I mean, you've been going all day. This encounter. We'll keep going. We'll make camp. Make camp. Who wants to? How do we want to do? Watch or
Cooking? Didn't you want to cook?
we will cook. Oh, we cooking. But who wants to? What do we want to do for watch? Dagger says, "I'll take first. If anyone."
I mean,
Or-
Moth and I don't require as much rest as either of you, so I think we can
That's
take
true.
the latter watches.
Yeah.
If that's okay with you.
Because me and Dagger could just take a 4-hour watch, and then you guys will be awake.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Who's cooking, babes?
Who
We want
wants
to roll a
to
d4. We want to roll d4. We'll do Dagger's 1, Sigurd's 2, Moth is 3, and Saraya's 4. I'll roll a d4.
Hell yeah! 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 Fucking do it.
Hey Sigrid. You're up, babe.
Okay.
On the
So
tour wheel,
the
we
way this
spun the little
works-
thing.
The way this works is essentially you can it's just role play. You can have whatever reasonable items you think and then you just describe what you want to make, and then you roll a fucking performance check.
We are going to for dinner. I think we are going to.
Or do we want to make it a performance check, or do we want to make it just a flat d20?
Can it be? Can it be a history check?
I feel.
for cooking?
Can I?
To recall
hey.
a recipe.
I want to give input. Okay.
Yeah.
How you cook a meal is really dependent on, the person, because some people do it to show off and others just do it to make food. So,
Yeah.
if you can argue for a certain skill
Okay, sure.
and the DM
Okay.
agrees,
Yeah, if you want to argue for history, then let's hear it, babe. That's a good point,
So
Boyo.
I want to make something homey because we're all very far from home. So I want to
Yeah,
make my mother's borscht, and so I'm
Borscht.
going to.
I meant for this to be silly and goofy, and you're making it very heartful and earnest, and I love that for you.
It's going to.
Mhm.
I have some pickled things I think wrapped in my bag, so I might have a few
That's
things
really
for
fine.
travel. So
Mhm.
I think she will make some borscht, and it is
Like a red, bloody-looking color, but a lot of love
yeah.
is going into this soup. It's normal. That's not. It's what it looks like.
Okay. So
Woo!
are you saying you would like to roll history?
Yes, because she's trying to remember exactly
If it's
her
a
grandmother's.
passed down recipe,
It is a
yeah,
passed down. That's why
fine.
I asked for history, and I know you gave me a face,
That makes
but I was
sense.
it is
So
her
she's
grandmother's
like,
recipe.
That's
fairies way.
fine.
No,
When Dagger,
it was
just so we all know. Wait, no, use your thing. Use your thing. Use your stuff.
I could
Use-
use my 8. I could use my 8 instead.
Yeah.
I could use my 8.
8 plus 5.
That way, no one has to eat bad because these rolls are gonna go by anyway. So, yeah, we'll do 8 plus 5, which is 13
Okay.
for borscht.
I just realized, Soraya, you used magic, didn't you? And I didn't have you roll on your table. That's my
If it-
bad.
If it's a cantrip, I don't.
That's
First
correct.
level spell
I
or
forgot.
better for a while.
Never mind. Thank you. Okay, so what did you actually get,
So
Ekaterina?
12, I think. 12
12?
or 13.
That's
yeah.
good. That's respectable. It tastes fine.
If you like that kind of thing.
It probably doesn't take I think Sigrid is a little disappointed because she is reaching for a recipe and I think she maybe didn't quite nail it, and so she might be like, this isn't right, but I think everyone else is like, this is fine. And no one else has a problem with it. I imagine Sigrid's kind of telling story. Is Sigrid how is Sigrid
Well, it's
presenting
better
this
if
dish?
you have a really nice rye bread.
Sigrid's on MasterChef.
And
This is our panel of judges.
it's better if you have bread and then a smoked fish and you have some raw onion and it's really good. But just soup. My grandmother used to make this soup and she'd make such big portions of soup that she would be able to take some to the neighbors as well. And
That's
so
nice.
everyone knew her as Soup Grandma.
That's very sweet. Just so y'all know, when Dagger cooks, he's using the fucking survival skill. So let's all just
Fighting
jot
for his
that the
life.
fuck down.
Fighting for
Fighting
his
for his
absolute
fucking
life.
life.
He's the one that's
Okay.
like this, bone apple tea.
But Yeah, makes
Here's
sense.
a fucking PB and J. There you go.
Here's an
Like the last of our
uncrustable.
jams.
An uncrustable.
He's
Dagger
literally
will
like,
say,
oh my god, I made beef jerky for dinner, you guys. You're gonna love it.
Dagger is furiously casting Goodberry under the table. Dagger will say, this was good. This was really good, Sigrid. Thanks for making
Yeah.
this.
Great job.
Thanks for sharing.
Part of your family history.
Definitely.
Well, the first, the food from where I am from is rugged, humble, I think you'd say. But it is very filling and warm for this time of year. It's about to get cold, so.
Dagger will go around and gather up everyone's utensils and bowls and go to wash them out in a nearby creek. Unless anyone has any objection to that. And then we'll take watch. So Dagger will wash out. Does anyone want to do anything? We're just kind of spreading out. Fire's going. Dagger and Sigrid are going to take first watch, and then Moth and Soraya are going to take second watch. Do we want to do anything? Did we want to say anything? Moth has the ice dagger. Are you attuning to that overnight?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Soraya has the rope, and Sigrid has the stuffed animal. Dagger has the letter that is magically sealed. Cool. Okay. So,
What was the money?
oh, it's 80 gold.
$80.
Probably wanna
80. We can split it 4 ways, or we can put it in a group fund. What do we want to do?
I don't care either way. Do we want to use this for future supplies potentially? Group fund?
Sure.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's only 20 gold a piece if we split it, which is not a
Still a
whole
lot
lot.
of gold.
Yeah.
I'll put my 20 in the group fund.
Same.
Yeah.
Who's keeping track of the group fund, by the way?
Dagger can be, because he put his quarter of the, what did I give you to start? 500?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something.
So 500 divided by 4, because everyone got 125, correct?
Yeah.
So the fund right now is, so Dagger's giving his, Soraya's giving hers, Moth is giving, are you keeping the, you can keep, I mean, don't feel bad if Sigrid would like to keep it, no one's gonna, feel bad about it.
No, sorry, I was just yawning. No, you can keep it.
Okay, so 125 plus 80. So the group fund is currently at 205, and Dagger can hang on to that. Dagger says, I'm very trustworthy.
Okay.
No, he fucking doesn't.
He doesn't. That doesn't happen. He would
That's not the vibe.
He would punch himself in the face. Okay. Soraya and Dagger. Did anyone, Sigrid and Dagger, did anyone want to do anything before we go to sleep? Sleep time. Does Dagger... Wait, do we need to not keep watch to Dagger? No, he doesn't have that spell. I thought he had alarm, but he doesn't. Cool.
No, I want to take watch with that guy.
Okay. Cool. So if no one else has anything to do, we'll have Soraya and Moth go to sleep.
Well, we don't sleep.
And
They're meditating.
well, they'll go into their little meditative state. And then Soraya, or I keep saying Soraya, Sigrid and Dagger. Well, it's the S.
She doesn't love me. She doesn't love me. She hates me, actually.
The two
I'm her least favorite person.
Is the creek nearby?
Yeah,
with
it's
they're
close
gonna
enough.
go over there to meditate. They're not gonna.
Perfect. Yeah, it's not. I'd say it's about
Damn.
15 paces. So
And they're gonna
easily.
just jump in and just dead man float.
I like the idea that they just sit down super gracefully and then just dunk their head in.
That would be hilarious.
So okay, they're meditating over there. Is Moth doing anything special, fancy?
No.
They're gonna say it with their legs kind of up, but laying back.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Nah, I think Moth's just
Perfect.
Old,
Excellent.
vampiric, coffin
Yeah.
pose.
yeah.
No, I think I think when
Looks asleep, but doesn't look like she's visibly breathing. It's weird. Very weird.
Dagger keeps looking over, like, a little nervously.
I think Sigrid like kind of shuffles like close into Dagger and is like, "What do you think of our companions?"
Wait, I'm sorry, can you please repeat
What
that?
do you think of our companions?
I think they're great. I think we got very lucky. I think Mayor Cockburn could have, if he was grabbing the first people he found, we lucked out for sure.
Soraya's magic is very powerful.
Everyone has really powerful magic, it seems like, but
The end of the world did that to everyone, I think. What did it do to you, Dagger?
well,
I got that question in. I segued so good, you guys. Anyway.
Dagger will say, I didn't. He's like, there's a pause and it's lengthy.
Like,
And
how do I
he
answer
goes,
this?
yeah. He goes, I heard the voice of the Deerheart, and it kind of set me on the path I'm on now. I wasn't really much. Some people were rangers before the apocalypse. I was not one of them. I became a ranger after.
Yeah, sometimes you find well, sometimes you find gods, and sometimes they find you. That's what happens.
Yeah, you said you were saved by a follower of Nathaya. That's awfully impressive.
Yeah. And Nagnaya found me. It's not impressive. I was just born at the time, so I didn't do anything. I guess
There are clerics who work their whole lives to have even the slightest acknowledgement by their god, and you had a full divine intervention as a baby. I think that's pretty impressive.
I think what is impressive is my mother, because I know she prayed really hard to save me, and begged the god to do so. For some reason, she was listening, and Naknaya gave me life.
There you go. There's a lot of statues to Naya in where I'm from, because it's they say it's where Naknaya and Adelinda took their first steps. So
No, they
she's
say
not a bad goddess to have on your side for sure.
they say that when I was born, I took 3 breaths and then my heart stopped. And then the praying happened and Nagnaya came. And when the cleric touched my hands, I started crying. So,
Well,
very cool story. I don't remember.
Certainly, as far as icebreakers go.
Well, I find it's easier to say it at the start because I'm a little weird, so people usually ask lots of questions. So better to head off before people assume.
Luckily, it seems like everyone here is pretty good about minding their business. So I don't feel like anyone has to give up anything they don't want to share.
Well, I don't know if I'll mind my business. They're so interesting.
Who do you think's more? Who do you think's more interesting, Moth or Soraya?
Oh no, you cannot ask me this, Dagger. I do not know yet.
Okay.
That's why I have to ask. Maybe you are the most interesting person, Dagger. I don't know yet.
That is almost definitively untrue. We have somebody who was personally raised from the dead by a goddess. We have a extremely old elf who seems to know how everyone in the world died. And we have another very old elf who can, the magic everyone here can do. Also, Soraya is a sea elf, and I have never seen a sea elf before, so that's just kind of interesting by default.
Soraya is also my first elf. And I will say, I think Mott is my first night elf too. I might have seen an elf before, but they're not very common in my village. I know
Yeah,
there are
there's
some.
it's not often to see elves, period, but there were where I'm from, we're so close to the border with Idlewind, which is elven territory, that we saw a couple now and again, but they like to keep to themselves, at least the high elves do.
But I don't know. I want to hear Moth play, I think. I have not seen a bard since I was small, and one came through the village, but he had. It was so strange. He had contraption where he would walk with his feet, and it would play a drum behind him. And he had 2 flutes he played at once. And if he shook his arms, there were bells on his costume.
Well, there you go. Sounds very talented. Jack was gonna ask something, and I am blanking on what he was gonna ask.
Oh dear.
Roll perception, by the way, please.
Oh,
And I'll have Dagger roll perception as well. Well, we gotta keep watch.
15.
Dagger gets a 6 to perception. 1d20 plus 6. Hey, 21. It's a very still night. There's not a lot going on. Dagger says, I'm a little worried that whoever left that note behind in all those bags is going to catch up wanting them, but
Maybe. But,
there didn't seem to be any way to track the letter, so
well,
they'll have a tough time finding us.
tomorrow is its own burden. Today's burdens are sufficient for today.
I guess so.
That is from the Book of Naknaya, so you can have that one for free.
Dagger will say, have you thought any more about that nightmare you had?
I don't want to sound self-important, is the hard thing, but maybe drowned God spoke to me. Because it was a
Maybe.
different voice than I had ever heard before.
I mean, you already had one god intervene. Maybe another one wants to take a piece.
There's not much to share. But maybe. I am trying not to die though, so I think I'll stick to my current.
I think that's a goal everyone here shares.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the whole practice sounds kind of horrible. Do you have to drown to follow this god? You have to die, but he spits you back. Usually, when you follow someone and then you die, they take you into their embrace and you have the afterlife where peace. But for him, you drown horribly and he sends you back.
Yeah, I don't think they do things much in the traditional sense. And I imagine followers of Naknaya would not love the way they handle
I don't. No,
death.
I do not.
That's fair. But they're priests, luckily you can see them coming a mile away because they are almost exclusively huge fucking weirdos who speak in rhymes.
Are they kind of stinky?
I probably have a bit of a dead fish aroma about them.
I should have saved more soap.
We'll see if Rhyme has anything.
Perhaps we can what is the word? Proselytize to them. Don't follow your god, he smells bad. because of the dead underwater thing. Follow Naknaya and you saw it. I know this will not work.
We'll see
your
if
thoughts?
we. Hopefully, we don't run into any at all. That would be my preference. But
I don't think that will happen, Dagger. I think we will run
Wait.
into them. I think it is fated.
okay, well, I guess we'll see what fate has in store.
Unfortunately, you cannot run from it, Dagger, no matter how hard you try.
Who's running from fate?
I don't know, but you have the air of a man who is. That is why I say something. Just a sense. That is all. I have a good sense about these things.
Sure.
And if he's trying a deception check, it's a natural 1.
He's not.
That's all.
He's not. Well, he's not just. I mean, he
I
just.
know.
He is.
I know.
He did not love that comment, but he's not taking it to heart because I think
Yeah.
he's learned that Sigurd isn't trying to be. Sigurd's just beating Sigurd, baby.
Yeah. It's a little
But there was
weird.
but and I don't know if Sigurd's even aware of this, but there was a brief flash of like, I didn't really like that. That was I didn't like that comment, but he's not taking it personally.
Yeah,
clearly.
I think she's aware, but it's just something like she feels pressed to say. It's like her her vision, and he's like, I hope we don't run into them. And she's like, no, we will. There's always a reason for everything that happens. We just don't know it yet.
Sure.
That's just the nature of divination, baby.
Sure. All right. Does Sigurd have any further questions for Senor Dagger?
No, not really. Don't want to grill him too much.
Dagger will say, well, I hope you don't have any nightmares.
See, that is something I cannot control, unfortunately. But I think I will be fine. It was not a nightmare. It was a vision. I think that was.
I'm not an expert, but if you drown in your dream and you hear a weird voice say ominous things to you, that is pretty nightmarish.
Guess that's true. To be fair, the things I do when I'm awake, most people would call nightmarish. So maybe my opinion is skewed.
All the same, I hope it doesn't bother you. Okay, and if Sigurd has no further questions for Mr. Dagger, they will go ahead and swap. We'll do a swap of the guards, and we'll turn it over to Moth and Soraya. And Dagger is going to kind of flop over, and he doesn't use a blanket, he doesn't use a cloak, he's just raw dogging out in the wild, baby.
I think what's really creepy and awful is I think, like Sigrid said, that in that vision dream she had, there was almost, like you said, there's a musicality to the way, like a broken discordant musicality to it, and she almost described the melody, like the thing as a song. I think she starts humming the song she had heard in her dream towards the end of the watch without even thinking about it, which sounds a little kind of funky, but
oh yeah, Dagger
just
has clocked that. Dagger clocks a lot of things about Sigurd that he's not interested in unpacking at this moment.
Too much
Okay.
for 2 a.m.
She's a
mean-
little weird.
Dagger's general modus operandi is if I don't ask questions.
I love your post. Thank you for that.
Is if Dagger's like, if I don't ask any questions, they can't ask any questions. And Sigurd's like, how about I just ask questions anyway? Which is great.
Damn it.
Okay, Moth and Soraya. Do we want to have a little chit chat? You don't have to. I'm not gonna like put a gun to your head and be like, role play now.
But you
like,
got a lot of hours to deal with.
Yeah.
If you wanted to, I know we're not gonna sit here for 8 IRL hours and be
No,
like,
we
"Hey, what
gotta.
did you do,
Yeah.
bestie?"
No, we gotta.
It's like Ma takes out like some knitting needles, like so.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, it's she takes out crochet shit.
So, is that your preferred craft of choice?
One of many. It's what I brought. So I can do
suppose
it without really thinking about it.
I suppose it's easier to transfer it than other hobbies.
Yeah. Can't exactly do taxidermy in the woods.
Oh, you have a gift with taxidermy? Is that an interest?
It was briefly. I want to say 5. Oh, but it was probably more
5 what?
years. Probably
Mm.
more than that.
What was your favorite taxidermied piece?
There was type of beetle. It was really hard to find. Cracking them open is very disturbing for most.
Well, their bodies are definitely delicate. You would have to have a light touch.
Mm.
I can't say I ever dabbled in taxidermy, but I do like. I like to collect a variety of trinkets. I suppose
Oh,
sometimes the things I've collected, some people might find odd.
what types of trinket?
Depends on where I am. Back home, there were interesting bones, parts from like shipwrecks,
Mm.
things that floated from other areas. As you know, Harper's Bay had a lot of tourist attractions, and
Yes.
people like to bring things they probably shouldn't out with them, and they like to just dump them wherever they may.
Mm.
So sometimes I would, especially when I was younger, I would spend time trying to collect some of this debris.
Mm. I see.
Is there anywhere in, well, aside from our main objective, is there any other goal that you have here in Brocade? I mean, you were here before, obviously, before we even got this job, so.
I'm trying to find any whereabouts of a person I know. That is mainly it.
Hmm.
Because he, last I was told, was here somewhere.
Hmm. I'm mostly here for research purposes, so
Mm. And
nothing as
magic.
personal as ours.
Mm. You've told the group in general that your magic has gone strange before, right? I feel like you did do that. Don't remember.
I told Sigrid and
Okay.
Dagger, but I didn't tell Moth because she was at the cemetery, I
Graveyard?
think.
Yeah, okay. Then I will. Yes, magic items are interesting,
Mm-hmm.
plentiful, some
Very.
fairly useless.
Oh, yeah. Some are a bit more mundane than others. You know, everybody like hears magic item and they assume that it's some like diabolical weapon that can
Mm.
kill your foes and not leave a trace or some rambling like that. But honestly, a lot of magical items are just for convenient purposes or vanity.
Yeah. A neighbor of mine used one as a watering can.
As a what?
Watering can.
Oh, watering can. That could be very useful.
Yeah. Never ending watering can.
Did you ever have any utilitarian items back home?
Back home, I'm wearing one right now.
Oh. Have you found it convenient or useful so far?
Moth takes off her glasses. Her eyes are very, very like light blue.
Mm.
Yes. Very.
How did you deal with the sensitivity? This place is a lot
I,
sunnier than other places that
well,
I've seen. Dark elves.
I wear these and I deal with it.
Has your skin become more desensitized to it?
In a way, I mean, I wear a lot of layers. But my friend saw to it that it's not as heavy of fabric as it seems.
Convenience?
Yes.
I am used to. Well, I guess I should say I should be grateful that this place is not as dry as it could be. If we were to go to a more arid location, I think I would struggle more with dehydration. I don't think my skin would react very well to such arid climates.
I understand.
I'm not sure you would either.
No.
So I guess we have that in common.
Yes? I feel we have much more things in common considering.
How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
243. And you?
A bit older. Not by too much. I'm
Hmm.
in my. Well, I'm pretty sure I was in my late 200s.
Fucking couple of golden girls over here.
Late 200.
Honestly, it's not the easiest thing to keep. It, not that it's not the easiest, but it's not really something that I bother keeping track of as carefully as I once used to. I mean,
That's fair.
when I was back home, um, pretty much the majority of the people there lived the same lifespans as me. So,
Mhm.
to be honest, I still struggle now when it comes to shorter lived people.
Mhm.
Um, it's honestly a bit disconcerting sometimes to see just how quickly somebody's vitality fades.
Oh, yeah.
Surprise, like we could just leave these two chuckle fucks behind. They're gonna be dead in a few years anyway.
I mean, it could be a year. I don't know.
Yeah. A friend of mine also stopped counting. But I think she's older than both of us combined, so.
I don't doubt that. It's age is also just such a strange concept when it comes to all these other races, at least living amongst them.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you sometimes look at somebody and it's like that is a child, and it turns out that amongst their
Yeah.
people that is considered an elder.
Yeah. It is often I make that mistake, which is why I just don't even address it. If they address it, I'll be like, okay,
Do
no
you
skin
ever
off my
get
back.
aggravated when somebody who looks older than we do
Hmm.
assumes that they know better than you because they are your quote unquote elder?
Yes, I assume that when anybody acts like they know better than me, regardless of age or appearance, you can know more than me. I don't care if you do. Don't try to show it off. It just makes me hate you.
Have you encountered very arrogant people like that? I mean, you're a bard, right?
Yes, many, many arrogant people exist out in the world, and Where I'm from, there is an unfortunate increase in access to those people.
Go ahead and make me both perception checks, please.
Perceivo.
Please perceive what your little eyes can perceive.
I'm trying so hard to peep.
I
With
see
my
my
eyeball.
niece is somewhere. She is peeping as well. Can I just say again how grateful I am that you watched Callie? Because that was very meaningful. Thank you.
Of course.
She's a little
Sorry, I got an
sneaker.
18.
Yay.
1 second. Trying to
Did
math.
you get your Busch Stadium picture, by the way?
No, I still haven't given his keys back. I still have his spare keys.
Wow,
That's about right.
you have more access to my boyfriend than I do. That's crazy.
Yeah, he lives a half an hour away. I ain't going all the way over there.
I know.
Yeah, it's
And a
about right.
5.
Mhm.
Moth, this crocheting project, am I right? Just like, why
Yeah.
would you even? I mean, you're supposed to keep watch. Like, you're sure. Like, it's fine. This crocheting project is where it's fucking at, though.
I have spells for a reason.
Yeah, Soraya, it's a quiet night. What did you get again? A 19? I think for a brief moment, you hear what sounds kind of like footsteps, perhaps. But you're in a wide open space. There's no one for anywhere to hide. And I think you kind of look around and you don't see anything. And so, I mean, I'm not going to say what Soraya does, but there's nothing there. They just thought they heard a sound.
Their ear kind of twitches.
Yeah. But there's no sign that anything actually happened.
Did you hear anything just now?
No, my string got all tangled. I'm trying to undo it.
Did you miss a stitch or something?
I believe so.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to jump into your PC's conversation, but I love when they're like, when you're learning to crochet, the first most important question is, can you count? And you have to be prepared for the answer to that to be no.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys, did you want to keep chatting, or did we want to go ahead and let the day break?
We can keep chatting a little bit.
Okay, sure. I just didn't want to be like, you must. Well, I just didn't want to be like, you must role play.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. So, yeah. Where I'm from, unfortunately, they're
Where are you
bountiful.
from, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, the big city. Elysium.
I can't say I've ever been there, but
I don't blame you.
do you like it there? I mean, assume if you were still living there. You must to some degree, right?
I suppose. I've lived there my whole life. I've had no real reason to leave it. And I'm not sure the exact phrasing. I don't like change too much, if I can help it. So to move to a completely different area with people I do not know is a task I'm not willing to undertake. Because people already shift around so often, it is frightening.
Well, I would imagine in a metropolitan place like Elysium, that would happen quite often.
I think I can hear Bella meowing.
My brother left.
Sombra is taking
then, yeah.
offense. Taking
Someone's like,
offense.
come back. Yeah.
It is. Yeah, I have lived through several generations of landlords, all in the same family. I've been grandfathered in on rates because of it, which is funny, but also very sad.
Yes. It's difficult to make acquaintances or get close to people that live shorter lives sometimes. It's something I still have to get used to.
Is unfortunate part.
Do you have a certain timeline that you think you're planning to travel before you go back? If you plan to go back to Elysium.
Hope to go back. I don't know. I have a lot of things to look into, and depending on how easy they are to find, as soon as I'm done with that, I will go back. My friends are very generous, and they live for a while, but I do not expect them to watch my shit forever.
That's understandable. I'm lucky I'm lucky that my, I guess, prior permanent residence is, I was not the only person that lived there, but who's to say? I do still have a job to get back to, assuming this doesn't take a very long time, but I guess we'll see.
It's gonna be like Supernatural, where the whole time Sam's trying to get his do his interview at Harvard or whatever. After everything, he's like, "No, I still have to do my college interview."
Oh my god.
They're like, honey, you ran out of PTO a while ago. We had to let you go from the company.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
You know.
Jobs.
But you want to talk about? Oh, does Moth want to talk about jobs?
Jobs. Moth
You
is just
have-
like, What are you
What-
saying?
What was your typical... I mean, you said you were a bard, but you don't strike me as a stereotypical one. I didn't really see you play any
No.
instrument or sing a certain thing when we were in combat, even if it was kind of short.
Yeah.
May I ask what you specialize in?
I would say the best way to put it is I specialize in people. More so in the sense of how or why they do things.
Are you some type of psychologist?
Yeah. I give advice.
Is she Lucy at the little booth that says 2 cents for the...
I give advice.
Oh, that's
In
such
a
a
way.
mental image of Moth. I'm sorry, I can just picture it.
Do people come to you to talk about their troubles or
Not
take
physically.
advice?
Mm-hmm.
Not physically.
No. Do you understand the concept of radio?
I lived in a tourist trap, so...
And yeah, I guess they would. I guess Harper's Bay would be relatively modern in the that's a fair question from Moth, because if
Yeah.
Moth asks Sigrid, they're gonna be like, what?
What's radio?
Mm-hmm.
But I think Sarai would know, simply because of Harper's Bay.
Well.
I wouldn't expect them to know like how to look something up on a web page, but like
Yeah.
but like maybe like photographs, because people take
Pictures all the time, yes.
Sigrid getting a spam email and going, "Oh, this man wants to give us money! That's so cool!"
This Nigerian prince needs assistance. What the fuck? What is Nigeria?
Oh my god.
So, I host a show on the radio where people send in their problem, and I give advice based on those problems.
That's incredible. That is incredible.
I do not use my name they do not use there. Because names, in truth, are not important because history has proven to repeat itself time and time again. We, as elves, are unfortunately the only people old enough to see it. I try to prevent problems before they happen for the millionth time. Whether or not somebody listens to me is their own issue.
People can be rather self-absorbed,
Yes.
in my experience. Even if you were to tell them the truth, sometimes they're not seeking truth, but they're seeking for you to reaffirm their own point of view.
Validations, yes. I do not often offer that to people who are blatantly seeking it out.
Was this a solo show, or did you have a partner? I mean, if you're traveling now, I would assume it was either someone still running it or it's put on pause, correct?
It's on pause. I will say, most of the things I run, which are to say two things, which is the radio show and a job I do on the side for money. I run them so I can do whatever the fuck I want,
So yourself
and nobody can tell. Yes, exactly. So, I
You
happen to
guys have
say,
like universal healthcare, or is that something you have to like
Healthcare again.
decide?
There's no escaping it.
well, Elysium, in the best kind of ways, is a bit of a money hole.
So I've heard.
If you do not have generational wealth or a sufficient pocket, you're kind of screwed. Because unfortunately, things have just progressed in a way that is not
Ideal.
reasonable, yes, or ideal, yes.
I can't say that Elysium sounds very welcoming. I don't think.
It depends. If you are of a certain kind, they're very welcoming. If you're not, you only leave your house at night. And that's where I. The club scene is fun for the people who know how to have fun, which are more than often vampires. They've lived
There's
very
in
long
in
lives.
in the Ransom verse, there's a vampire who does that Bill Hader bit where he goes, "The hottest club is."
New York's hottest club is Kevin? So, more often than not, when my friends can convince me to leave my house, I go clubbing. And that's a time. I'm either clubbing or at the graveyard. So,
Ate that a
Booze.
line.
You seem to spend a lot of time in graveyards.
yeah.
Is there a particular reason? Is that part of your occupation?
More part of a hobby. I like to maintain graves, to honor the dead, and all that. And you learn a lot about people that way. And you learn the stories of people who have
You also commune with the
essentially
dead,
been
like
forgotten.
Sigrid.
In a way. They commune with me. I can't really talk back.
So you listen and they speak to you?
Occasionally.
Or do you just happen to be able to hear what they're saying at the time?
I can hear them. But they have to choose to speak. I can't control what they say, when they say it, why they say it. I just listen. It is very disconcerting to most when they hear it, because it is not exactly just me who can.
So others can hear.
Yes.
They say. Interesting. Well, I got a book of necromantic magic that I loaned to Sigrid from the library, but if you're interested in necromancy, I'm sure you guys could look at it together.
Possibly.
What do you think of them, by the way?
The group?
Mhm.
Well, I like Sigrid. He's very helpful.
He seems
And
very sweet.
yeah, exactly. I am notoriously very partial to very young children.
Hmm.
I don't mean that in the wrong way, but she just reminds me of a lot of people I've met before that I had to protect in one way or another.
Do you feel protective of her then?
Yes, very. A lot of younger people I feel that way towards.
I mean, everybody's younger than us.
Yes,
So.
that's a problem.
Mhm. She's really sweet, and
Yeah.
she seems very observant.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say she's necessarily naive, I just think that she hasn't experienced a lot outside of her home.
Yeah,
I'm
not
curious
many
as
have.
to how she'll react to things in our travels, assuming that we travel together for a long amount of time.
No. No, with Dagger, I have a sticking point a little bit
Hmm?
with Rangers, mainly.
Is it
But
because,
that's not his fault.
does it have anything to do with you being from Elysium, or does it have to do with other personal experience?
Other personal experiences.
Mm.
It is very interesting to me that he is a ranger, and he does not do ranger things.
What are you talking about? He totally tracked those people. This is so rangery.
Ranger things is in screwing others over with magical items,
Yeah.
which she's very aware of in Big Town's magical item trade.
He does
Although
seem...
remember, rangers don't go in Elysium
Yeah.
super often. But no, I mean she's well within that. It
Yeah.
makes complete sense that she would feel that way.
Yeah.
Um,
Just mad shit talking on the magic item forums, just like, fuck this guy, he stole my stash.
No, it's super. Dagger is not a normal ranger for sure. That's a very accurate
He's
observation.
not a narc. He's not wearing a
Well-
wire.
He does seem rather lenient when it comes to magical artifacts, I'll give him that.
Yes.
He seems very driven, but
Yeah.
he also seems very... to himself.
Mm.
I mean, obviously, like, he's offered to look out for one another, and of course, you know, traveling together, it'd be a good thing for us to work together.
Mm.
But he seems... I mean, we all have our own personal goals, so...
Of course.
And I don't expect him to share every little thing about his childhood and him growing up after
No.
a night or two of knowing us, but he seems reluctant to open up, I guess. Who's to say?
That's
We did just meet.
yeah.
I'm not sure how well, though, he is when it comes to talking with others outside of work. Like, he seems to some... I don't know if it was just his over-eagerness of,
Mm-hmm.
like, volunteering for this job.
Yes. When he interrupted you, is this what you're referring to?
But, I don't know. Maybe it's just...
Amanda's one fucked up thing.
I need you to know that you're playing the man now, so get used to it, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't take it personally. He seems...
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like he had been trying to convince the mayor to actually do
Yes.
something about all this before
Mm-hmm.
long, but
That's fair. Not everybody's good with interactions.
how do you think he would react if somebody flirted with him?
I'm muting myself. Bye.
Hmm. You know,
I don't think he would
I-
take it very well, to be honest.
I don't believe he would.
Or maybe he
either.
will, but I don't know. He just strikes me as somebody who
He did attempt to sneak away when there was a crowd and failed, and then there was a little awkward shuffle in that, and I don't know how that would work.
I mean, if he's a ranger, though, I would assume he didn't want to be seen partaking in a live spectacle, to be fair to him.
Fair, yes. You know, it depends. Some people are better at dishing it out than they are receiving. The other way they around. Hilarious. I see you laughing. Very funny. But, you know.
Dagger snores very loudly and flops over and over.
It is hilarious to watch, I will say.
What is?
Again, well, watching people interact that don't really know how. I find it funny.
Do you try to make them flounder on purpose, or do you just like spectating?
I like spectating. I don't tend to initially incite floundering unless I don't like you.
Have you
Then,
Pile of broken hearts back on Elysium?
no. I don't believe so. If I'm not interested, you'll know.
You strike me as a pretty direct person, so I don't doubt that.
Yes, I am.
Who do you think is gonna have to cook tomorrow?
No, I don't know. Boulder parchment shears only work so many ways.
Whatever the dice come up with, baby.
Perhaps we can put all of our ingredients together and see what we can make out of.
Ah, yes.
Borscht
A crock pot.
ceviche.
A crock pot. Wonderful.
It's like, what's a crock pot?
Yeah, it'll be interesting, and I don't know how far these travels will land us, especially together. But I know I have to get back to Elysium, whether you all follow me there or not. Will be interesting. Mainly contingent on the fact that we have a person who I doubt knows very much about modern things, and we have another person whose entire job basically bans him from being there. So,
Well, who knows? I mean, Sigurd seemed very interested in visiting Pendulum,
yes.
although I'm not sure how doable that trip would be at the moment. The place that Whisper mentioned is not the easiest place to get to.
Hmm.
But
No
that's
surprise.
something we can discuss potentially after all of this is over. How deep of a sleeper do you think they are?
Well, we've been having a full conversation. Although I have not raised my voice, they seem pretty set. So, I assume unless we scream or something horrible happens, they are either relatively deep or mid-sleep sleepers and not light sleepers.
Well, the sun should be rising soon.
Yes.
Is there
Very
any...
unfortunate thing.
I can finish watch if you have any thing you have to do before the sun rises. I know you're a bit more sensitive to it than I.
I think I'll be okay. I'll probably just stop crocheting. Put on sunscreen.
Oh boy. All right. Okay. Sigrid and Dagger will come to.
Eventually.
And
That-
so we have one more encounter before we get to Rhyme. We're halfway to Rhyme.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will roll the encounter and maybe set it up, and we can play that out when we start. But let me go ahead and roll. That's not the right button. We're packing up camp. Everything seems normal. Everything seems all good. That's a 5.
Is there a roll for breakfast? Do we do that too? Or
It's
Nah,
leftover
breakfast
borscht,
is-
baby.
yeah.
You better drink
Gotta
that
finish
soup.
those leftovers because that's not gonna keep.
No, it will not.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so we all greet each other. Everyone survived the night. Dagger's packing up.
Mhm.
We're all eating to-go cups of soup. Good soup.
It's good soup.
It's good soup.
Okay. So as we begin walking, did anyone want to say anything, do anything, take care of any business before we get back on the road? You'll have one more encounter, and then you'll be at where you need to be. At Rhyme.
Mm. Hey, Sigrid.
Yes, what do you need?
Have you had a chance to glance at that book I gave you?
Mostly I just went to sleep last night, so no. But
Did you have any dreams, Sigrid?
there is a cloud and it was shaped like a bunny. So nothing of note.
Hmm.
Unless you think bunnies are, dangerous. You're fine, sure. You know more than I would.
I think we'll be all right with bunnies, but I'll keep an eye out.
Okay.
Okay. We begin walking. We're walking, and we're
We
walking, and we're walking some more. I can't believe I told you guys to prep for combat, and then you one-shot it. I mean, it was supposed to be hard, but still. So as we draw closer to Rhyme, we're gonna come across a hamlet with where some kids are playing next to there's like a little patch of trees. We're getting into like Rhyme is still several miles away, but we're like kind of getting to the outskirts of Rhyme. And there's some kids playing some trees. 2 are standing under a large oak while a third is climbing to reach a nest of eggs. It seems dangerous as the nest is quite high up. So he's like really kind of it's their they are 2 human kids and a tiefling. And the tiefling is the one up in the trees, kind of precariously balancing, and he is it's getting too high to be like strictly comfortable with everyone watching. It's getting to the point where like if he falls, damage will occur. And Dagger's actually gonna be like, oh my god. Dagger's gonna be like, hey, what are we doing? And the other kids are just kind of like looking up, and they're like, no, it's okay. He's gonna get the eggs. And Dagger's already kind of like, oh my god. Dagger's just kind of like walking over there, like, oh Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Does anyone follow Dagger? What are we doing? Kid in a tree, and 2 little kids, or 2 other kids not in the tree.
I think Moth will follow.
Yeah.
Mainly too.
He's the tiefling boy's like, no, it's fine. I do this all the time. I do this all the time. And Dagger's like,
I think he'll be okay. And Sigurd's just gonna trace like a shape in the air and give him guidance, the boy guidance.
Yeah.
okay. So he manages to climb up even higher. The success of granted by Sigurd, he scampers up even higher, and Dagger's like clearly kind of like getting anxiety
Like-
looking up at him. I'm in the fridge. Sorry.
It's okay.
Moth is kind of
Are
watching, and
not
she
we
had
all in the fridge at some point, comrade?
the mini fridge. Yes.
So as he continues to climb, Dagger walks over and he goes, "What are you guys doing?" The kid's like, "There's some eggs up there." And Dagger's like, "They're not like chicken eggs. You can't just take them." And the kids are like, "No, we thought it'd be really fun to paint them. We were gonna paint them." Like, you can't just take eggs from a nest.
The mother's going to come back and look for her children.
Mm-hmm.
And the kids are like, and they kind of do that kid thing where they know they're wrong, but they don't want to talk about it, so they're just kind of like...
What would you do if the mother were to show up right now?
It's so funny that you say that, Vari. So the kid gets up pretty high, and he's like now up like within arm's length of the egg of the nest. He gets a little spooked. He gets a little scared. He was not anticipating to get up this high, and he kind of goes a little still. And as he's having that moment of crisis, a couple of crows are going to come back and make a big fuss. And they're not like, they're just crows. They can't like kill him or anything. But they are going to start like harassing and pecking him and trying to defend their nest. If no one else is going to take any immediate action, I think Dagger's going to... Dagger will do something, but I'll let someone else take the lead if they would prefer.
Dummy.
Do you have a plan, Dagger, in this moment?
Yeah.
A really bad one. And Dagger...
Just scared the birds. I could scare them if you wanted me to do that.
Can you speak to the birds?
I cannot do that. Sure, by all means.
You might want to not be immediately in my vicinity.
Do you need to? Because can they hear you?
I can project my voice louder. Just speaking better.
Okay. Dagger will only take like a couple of steps back. He's actually gonna be like, hey, and he's gonna kind of pull the kids over. They're like, no, we didn't do anything. He's like, get over here. And so, what does Soraya do? Oh, I need to pull up Soraya's fucking sheet, eh?
They're gonna be like, they're going to kind of like play with the pendant that they're wearing, and their throat is going to glow a little bit, and they're going to cast Speak with Animals.
Amazing.
Yay! Yay!
Roll me a 100 percentile die, please.
Roll it.
Okay.
Roll it.
If you turn into a potted plant, I need you to know I will laugh.
You should, as you should. How do I do that on here?
It's gonna be you can either in the bottom left.
Do I roll 2 d10s?
There's a D100 button on D&D Beyond.
Yeah, there's a D100. Yeah. In the bottom left, it's like the fourth one down. It's the 2.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I don't know why it looks like that, but go off, Kings.
Either. What just happened to everyone? Yes.
Oh, it's thinking real hard.
Oh,
92. Okay.
Very high.
If we get teleported.
Okay. So, so you can't speak with animals. What do you say to the animals? To the crows, specifically.
Stop.
They're gonna be like, hey, excuse me! Could you stop attacking the child for a moment? Okay. He doesn't know any better. We're trying to get him down. He wasn't trying to hurt your children. Apologize for that.
He was.
Okay.
He was. Narrator's voice, he was.
I'm going to, unrelated, look up this spell in Ave real quick.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. I am dark.
Magical darkness spreads out, centered on you, Soraya. It is a 15-foot radius sphere. So everyone is suddenly, because I don't think they got 15 feet away from you.
No.
So suddenly it's really fucking dark for everyone. I will say darkness is a concentration spell, so I feel like Soraya could drop it whenever they desired. But the kids probably scream a little bit because it suddenly gets really dark. Dagger probably kind of grabs them a little tighter. He probably doesn't really know what's going on.
I need you to know that
Moth doesn't move.
I need you to know
Moth
that
can't.
Sigurd is using a little bit of thaumaturgy to make the ground rumble a little bit, just to. Because these kids were trying to steal eggs from the bird's nest. That's very rude. That's not. Why would you take those from the birds? Those are babies.
So
Yeah,
there's also
Moth can't see, but Moth doesn't move.
yeah, Dagger just kind of grabs the kids. So I'll call it. Well, it's up for like 5 seconds, and then
It's
Soraya can drop it if she desires.
it's fine.
I mean, she can't see anything either.
No. Yeah, they'd be like, it's fine. It's just dark temporarily, and they're gonna drop it.
It's unrelated. Don't worry about it. Okay, so does darkness stay up?
No,
'Cause
they'll drop it after
Okay, cool.
2 seconds.
The tiefling
Well, first,
kid.
Wait, like, can I ask though? Like, do the crows respond first of all, or are they like?
I think they are getting ready to respond. They see all of the darkness spill out of nowhere, and I think they bail because that's fucking hey. I think they do a lap.
They're like, fuck
truthfully.
that actually.
Fuck that actually. And or maybe they might just settle down on their nest and like go to protect their eggs because the kid isn't like in their nest, so they can just like I think they just like hunker down and like and the kid so the tiefling boy I think is so there's a tiefling boy stuck up in a tree, 2 crows, very puffed up feathers, very distressed, very bothered, hunkering over their eggs. And Dagger is going to say, the 2 little kids that were near Dagger are like, what happened? It got really dark all of a sudden. It's morning. It got really
This
dark.
is what happens when you try to take the children of someone else. If you don't want this to happen again, then you shouldn't be doing something like this again. Don't you agree?
That's hilarious. Dagger's going to say, listen to what she says. And he's going to go climb the tree and work on getting this. He's gonna make a fat dex check is what he's going to do. And hope we're not fucking blow
because
it.
Sometimes, if you
Do you want
introduce
inspiration?
a bigger creature, then they could kill you. They could eat
Do you want inspiration?
Nah, I think it'll be all right.
Okay.
All good.
I think Moth is not. She's just gonna look at these children who are significantly smaller than she is, and she's gonna be like, "Now, what did we learn today?"
Dagger got a 12. So Dagger is with relative. I mean, 12's pretty. He's finding his way up the tree. So it's Sigrid, Soraya, and Moth kind of standing around, rightfully scolding these 2 children, while Dagger shimmies up a tree to retrieve the 3rd one. The boy's like, "We learned if you ever try and take bird eggs, it's gonna get really dark." And it's gonna stay dark forever. I thought it was gonna stay dark forever.
It
And I
will.
was like,
If you
what
steal these
happens?
bird eggs, it stay dark forever, and then you go blind, and then maybe your fingers will
No,
fall.
sweetheart. Here's the thing.
Don't tell him that.
Let
I didn't
us-
actually hear that.
Let's all take this into account. That if we're going to steal the babies of another creature, maybe don't do that. Okay?
Yeah, there's no. All the birds left rhymes. There's no birds anymore. We thought we could raise them, maybe. We weren't really gonna paint them. We just kind of said that, but
Honey,
Thrykel says we're not supposed to bring in animals from outside of Rhyme.
sweetheart,
'Cause
I need you to listen to me. A baby is best raised by its mother.
Yeah, I
You're
know.
not a bird. The bird wouldn't be able to fly if you raised it. Then it's not much of a bird, is it?
Dagger has the tiefling boy kind of by the kind of not by the scruff quite, but kind of like awkwardly like tucked under his arm like a football a little bit.
I like that.
And
Yeah.
he's got he sprinkled some seeds for the birds in their nest, and he got his fingers pecked out for his trouble. He's like, "Are you fucking okay?" Um, and he's shuffling back down with a little football tiefling tucked under his arm. Yeah, we just miss all the birds, but you're
I know
right.
you miss all the
I
birds.
mean, if you want to attract birds, you can leave
There are
seeds
other
that
ways of
they
doing it.
enjoy.
Yeah,
Or
there's
if you
no,
have like a garden of some sort, you can.
the birds left Rhyme a long time ago.
Mhm.
And Dagger lands, and he'll plop the tiefling boy down. They all kind of like scramble together, and Dagger's like, "Is it still really bad in Rhyme?" And they kind of nod. Dagger's like, "All right, I'm really sorry to hear that." Uh, Dagger's like, "Do you know the way back home? You're still a few miles out." No.
Hmm.
Dagger's like, "Do you think you can get back there without too much trouble?" Yeah, we don't want any trouble. Dagger says, "Do you have anything to say for these spooky bitches, these nice people, for keeping the birds from pecking your eyes out?" And they will all trip over themselves in their haste to thank you. The tiefling boy seems a little reserved. He isn't quite as eager to say thank you, but the other two are
Don't
very quick
forget,
to say
if
thank
you
you, thank
break
you,
the
thank
rules
you.
again, then darkness will come, the ground will shake, and then you go blind.
That's okay. They look at Dagger, and Dagger's like, "Listen, I don't. Maybe it's true."
If
Did any?
you
Crows have a very
want,
long memory, you know.
they do.
They remember people that slighted them and tell other crows.
That's true.
Yes.
As these kids are like, "Oh my fucking god, we're gonna get
But
eaten."
here's the thing. No. Here's the thing. If you're nice to the birds, they will tell other birds, and more birds will come to the city. So do nice things. Do not steal from them. Give them food. Make them houses. Do you understand?
They both nod very rapidly. And then the tiefling just kind of gives a slow nod. He seems a little lost in thought. That was hysterical. They're gonna scamper off. And you're not very far outside of Rhyme. And as you walk into Rhyme, this will be where we leave off, but I'll leave you with
It's important to scare children, because if you don't scare them, then they can do terrible things. And it's better to have a small scare when you're young instead of a big scare, but without learning anything, because a big scare could actually hurt you.
I guess that's fair. I can't.
And not that the
how
fairy
many-
tales I learned when I was young are very scary. What were you saying, Soraya?
Oh, I was gonna say that a lot of cultures have cautionary tales for a reason.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, you shouldn't fuck with animals. Just
Quite
good
frankly,
advice in
that-
general.
Just the
I wasn't
bad ideas.
lying
you
about
had.
the crows either. They will remember this.
Oh, they do.
Oh, 100%. But I know there was Rhyme's in pretty bad shape, so it sounds like it hasn't gotten any better, unfortunately.
Have you been here before recently?
I haven't been in. They are a pretty tight knit community. They don't take too kindly to outsiders, but you don't have to get too deep inside to see what's going on. And as he says that, you all approach the fair city of Rhyme, and it looks like this.
To be fair, maybe
Take
the fact that I'm a tiefling could be helpful.
Everything's dead. Everything's
Where's
dead.
that?
It's in muties.
Oh, it's
Oof.
dead.
Everything is McFucking dead, team.
Oh, it looks
Empty.
like
There are
looks like gilded veil from Pillars, but none of you explained that.
barren fields where clearly at one time things were intended to grow. the bushes around a statue of the High Fire that were clearly supposed to be like decorative and pretty and honoring are crusty and brambly and thorny. All the trees are dead. The grass looks like shit. It's a bad time. Not good. Not good. And Dagger's like, yep, that's what I thought it was gonna look like. And you guys have you haven't even really made it but 2 steps into town. And you're gonna hear someone say, hey, Southern accent Dutch, she's back.
She never left.
What the hell do you all want? What do you think you're doing here? And a woman is gonna march up to you, human woman, in her mid to late 20s, with bright red hair, braided into a functional braid and worn well-used farmer's clothes. And she kind of gives you all a look. I actually have a description written for her. I don't know why I didn't just read that off.
That's okay. That's okay.
I actually really like the description I wrote for her. Let me open it real quick. Sorry, we're almost done. I'm fading fast. We're almost done. We're almost done.
It's okay.
I'm also thinking maybe aspirin time.
I gotta just find
I'm gonna beat your immune
Okay.
system.
I wish you would.
I
wish
oh,
you
that's not
would.
the right one.
All the leaves are brown and the sky is gray and the sky
Here it is.
is gray.
A human woman appearing to be in her mid-20s. Her brow line suggests a life of weariness as opposed to one of laughter, though she does offer you a nod in greeting. Her hands are tough and coarse and can only come from long, hard labor. She is dressed simply and practically. Her boots are muddied and her apron well used, and she wipes her hands on it thoroughly.
Mm-hmm.
Her hair is long and flame red, sensibly braided back, but the wind has undone much of her work. She seems to make very intentional eye contact. She's fair-skinned and freckled and pretty by any conventional standard, but her set jaw and suspicious gaze would likely discourage any potential suitors. And Dagger starts to say, Mayor Marshrider, before he can even get it out, a second figure appears. And don't you know it? It is a very, very tall, very big boy. It is a blue dragonborn. I'll give you his description real quick and then we'll call it. A rather tall male dragonborn with shimmering blue scales and bright, icy eyes that have a distinctly piercing quality. He wears a black, high-necked undershirt below his simple but tremendously well cared for tunic. It has a handmade look about it. The swirling colors seem to have been achieved by combining all the blue and blue-adjacent dyes available, resulting in a piece of clothing that are several shades of blue and purple all bleeding into one another across the fabric, vaguely invoking the night sky. He wears a worn golden sash across his waist and a beautifully embroidered pouch around his neck where it hangs low in the center of his chest. The bag appears black but shines blue in the light like ink, with delicate, jagged golden threads woven around it like lightning. The 4 horns at his head are also blue but turn gold towards the tips, and his blue scales gain a golden sheen the farther your eye travels up his face. He is, altogether, a very imposing figure but displays no sign of aggression or temperament. He merely watches very, very closely. Large, scaly arms crossed.
Is this
Soraya.
Yes.
Yeah, everyone is Dreichel. Yes, this is Dreichel. This is Dreichel, who is, I believe, Mayor told you he was. Did Mayor tell you he was the champion?
Yes.
Champion,
Okay.
and he's a
Yes.
little violent, scary? Question mark.
He's scary. People are scared of him because he's a big dragonborn.
It's like, don't get on his bad side.
Yeah.
Don't get all up in his grill.
Senator Bluebell
So-
is dangerous. I'm looking through my notes. Cora is the new mayor in Rhyme, so we probably are talking to Cora.
For Marshrider and Dreichel Bazin. And we'll kick it off with them next time.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Let's go ahead and
we had to get
pick
there.
the next.
We got a good thought, the good think. All right, end of part 3
Yeah.
because there are 3 parts because I hate myself.